Welcome to Every Way Woman. Today is Monday, and you know what that means. We're talking money. Today we're reaching out to the single ladies. So ladies, we have some good news and bad news when it comes to single ladies. We find that financial gurus do think that single ladies are more cautious about the way they spend their money, but the bad news is they're not saving enough for their future. So Stacey, when it comes to living in control with their money, single women love to splurge on fashion and beauty and all of that stuff. I don't know if it's a stereotype or not, but that's what they're saying out there. Why do you think women value their appearance so much about then saving money and saving for their future?
Well, I think it's societal pressures. I think it's the media. I think what has happened is there's external validations. So the better that you look, the more that you're valued. And we put that pressure on them. If you look at the media, if you look at everything around, it's about beauty. From selling a hamburger, right? You see the lady on the commercial in a bikini with the car. So everything around is very visual. And so that puts a lot of pressure on our young women.
All right, well, you know, the other thing, there's a study out there with single women who just feel like they're too busy. They can't track their expenses because they're just too busy having fun out there. Cinderella, you're a young woman. What do you feel? Are you tracking your expenses, or does that feel like it's just too much to do right now?
Right now at this point, it does feel like it's overwhelming. But I guess the truth is that I really don't like to deal with that aspect, you know? So I think that when you kind of develop a good relationship with money, that you kind of maybe create that time. And to be honest, you know, like I said, I don't really like to deal with it, but I think that I could create the time to do it, but I prefer someone else.
Do you see the payoff for it? Do you see that there is a payoff for it, or do you think, you know what, I'm doing just fine?
No, I think it's a payoff for it. It's just I would rather delegate it to someone else. Delegation is good, you know, as you're moving forward, being single.
And Jezlan, you're a single gal also. Do you feel it's important to have an emergency fund just in case things come up, especially with single people? It's harder because you don't have someone to fall back on. Or do you?
Absolutely. It's imperative to me now at this point in my life. When I was younger, I didn't think it mattered. And now I'm getting a little bit older. I'm in my later 20s, and I wouldn't have it any other way because I feel so much more secure in myself without looking for a man to be my financial plan or my parents, because I can really have that backbone of a savings account.
Holli, I'm going to ask you about, just this, tracking and saving for emergency funds. What do you think with single women? I mean, is it something that most of them do find so overwhelming? We have Jezlan here who's saying, you know what, I find it important now, but she's starting to, realize that. The younger 20s, do they see the importance of it?
I don't think, from what I can observe, I don't think so. I think it's all about that impulse and, oh, I've got to have that, or, oh, I have to have my nails done, or whatever, which as you get older, I think it becomes less important. Your values shift a little bit, especially if you have children and then you're single. You have different kind of perspectives on things and what really matters. And do I want the manicure, or do I want, to do something for my kids?
Well, and I think it's important too not to make choices seem like a sacrifice. It's all about the balance.
Well, I was thinking about when I was single. Now where I'm at the other side, I wish I would have managed my money better. I really wish I would have managed my money better because I would have been a lot further in life. But at the time I felt I was invincible, so I went and I spent up and I charged up my credit card, and now I'm paying for it on the back end. So I'm really glad that you ladies, with interest, I'm glad that you ladies are talking about that, and I'm talking to my daughters about that right now. Don't be foolish like mama, go to college and get that credit card and be like, bow, bow.
It's my reward. Right.
Because literally, my husband and I have paid for it on the back end. So I applaud you two ladies for talking about that now.
And how receptive are your daughters to hearing this? I mean, do you think it's sinking in, or are they like, whatever, we'll still deal with it later?
My oldest daughter, she told me, this is her motto, don't spend your own money when you can spend somebody else's. But she's really good. We have this account, and for all of our viewers, they have accounts now that they're starting with young kids, where she has a credit card in her saving, and she says, I can't have less than $100 in there. She watches it. She goes to the store. She has to spend money for her magazine. She wants me to do it. So she's getting it, and I'm really, really glad because name and credit is very, very important.
Oh my gosh, more than ever now.
As long as she's not looking for Mr. Right to, spend his money and not take care of her own.
Well, there's no problem in looking for the Mr. Right while you're taking care of yourself.
Exactly. Right.
You can have it
But
both.
you don't want to live too long. I mean, mean, time goes by so fast. And I think
Right.
when you're in your teens and learning about money and early 20s, graduating from college, you don't really think, oh, that's my 40s. Oh my gosh, that's a lifetime away.
All right.
Oh, you wake up, you're there.
Speaking of not having enough time, this was a great conversation, but we need to wrap it up. So join us with Every Woman again, and we'll be right back.